Today we're going to do some banana pancakes. I just did a banana cheesecake and I still had a couple more bananas. And so I'm going to make these. I'm going to go ahead and cook them on the griddle and everything, and then we're going to freeze them. So this is a little bit of meal prep as well. It's really great to just, you can throw them in the microwave, you can throw them in the toaster, and just warm up whenever you're ready for them. It's not always convenient to make pancakes. Sometimes you just don't have time, but you'd like a little more breakfast. What I've got going on in this bowl, I have 4 eggs, slightly beaten, and 2 bananas. And right now I'm just mushing these bananas up into here. You want to make sure your bananas are really have brown spots on them and are sweet. If there's any green on them, they will not be as sweet and they will not taste as good. Those are great for eating and for cereal, but as soon as your bananas start getting brown, they are really a lot better for making banana bread, banana pancakes. We just did banana cheesecake. All of those things are just, you really need the right bananas. Now, I happen to have quite a few bananas right now. I had a friend in our neighborhood that had got a whole bunch of them, and they had given them away, and then people took what they wanted, and they still had too many. And so we took them. I think there was about 35 or 40 bananas. It was quite a few. And what you do is you peel them, and I slice them, and I put 2 at a time in a Ziploc bag, and I freeze them. And I use those for smoothies. You can still use those for banana bread when thawed. You cannot use them, like if you make banana pudding, they will get weepy from being frozen. So if you're going to put them in something that cooks, that's okay. If you're going to do them in a smoothie. And you don't need to thaw them for your smoothie. Actually, you can do that instead of ice, and they make a really nice smoothie. So because I'm doing the bananas in here for my pancakes, and again, at this point, it's 4 eggs and 2 mushed bananas. I'm going to do a little bit of vanilla in here and mix that up. And then we're going to do a 1.5 cups of almond flour, about a tablespoon of baking soda, okay? And certainly if you do not feel comfortable pouring it in your hand and measuring, because I've been cooking for too many years, definitely use a measure. That I promise you that's close to a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add some coconut flour, and we're going to do 2 heaping tablespoons here of coconut flour. This will really help bind this, and it also gives a nice texture. When you just use almond flour, the texture just isn't the same, okay? We're going to mix this till it's almost mixed, and then I'm going to add a little milk to thin it out. This is going to be dairy-free. You certainly could use milk. We're going to do about a 1/2 cup of milk there. Now, sometimes I know people get frustrated that I don't give you exact amounts on some things. A lot of things I do with baking, I do a lot. However, sometimes when you're doing things like adding the bananas, bananas are different sizes. And so sometimes it doesn't, you don't get the same amount of liquid, because some bananas are a little bit more liquidy or a little bigger than others. So you just kind of have to adjust. Now, because we have this coconut flour in here, I will tell you, this batter is going to be just a little bit thicker than maybe what you're used to. So you can kind of see. So it's still going to kind of drop. See, but this batter's thick, so we want to leave it right there. Okay? And then what I have got going on over here, so I have our griddle going. I've got it nice and heated up. And I'm actually going to turn it down now that it's heated up to about 325. You want it nice and warm, but you do not want it too hot. Okay, I've got my griddle sprayed with a little bit of avocado oil. I'm using a scoop. And then you will have to I'm just gently kind of patting and pushing out these pancakes. Because this batter is not really thin, it's a little thick, it will take just a little bit more to to spread them. You don't want to just leave that clump there because it will not cook right, and then it becomes more of a clump of dough than a pancake. So, but you want to kind of keep the size and the thickness consistent if possible. I'm just going to kind of put these out here. Again, I'm just barely even tapping. I'm not really pushing. I don't know if you did, like I'm just like barely this and just kind of going across the top, from the middle, kind of getting it out. And now sometimes I do bigger ones, sometimes I do smaller ones, depending on who's going to be eating them. If it's going to be my husband, I tend to make bigger ones for him. I tend to make smaller ones for me because I cannot eat as much at once. So, but the other thing about making these smaller ones is you can always have 2 or 3 if that's, you know, what you want. And these are a lot more carb. Remember, we used 2 bananas total, so if we get 8 to 10 pancakes out of this, you're only getting about 1/4 or less of a banana per pancake. So it's really not adding that much carbs, but it's adding a lot of flavor. And then we're going to use our wonderful Chalk Zero sugar-free syrup on them that is really yummy, and we'll just kind of release that off our pancakes. So I'll come back whenever we get these flipped, and we're going to get them ready for the freezer so that we can freeze them as part of our meal prep. Okay, we've flipped all our pancakes, and I actually went back and flipped them again. So this is actually the second flip. Now on regular pancakes we would not do this, but because of using the almond flour and it just cooking slower, that batter just takes a little bit longer to become done. I do flip them twice. And so we make sure that we have a totally done pancake. You can see both sides are just this really nice shade of brown. I'm gonna lay these over here on this cookie sheet now, so that we can let them cool. This one here was a little bit late to the party, so we're gonna kind of go. I'm gonna get all of these on here. Let that one cook just a minute longer because I did add it a little bit later. And then these are gonna go, here's our cookie sheet. So you can see we have this cookie sheet of pancakes. So we're going to put this in the freezer. We're going to let them freeze in a single layer, and then we will put them in individual Ziploc bags, and they'll be ready for us in the morning for a quick breakfast. I hope you'll try them and let me know what you think. Healthy eating.